Hello, everyone. Tyrone Nakwatase here for Talkin Taiko with Tyrone, and we're doing a special edition today as we are partnering with the Taiko Community Alliance, aka the TCA, to introduce to you the new staff members that have just come on board. And so this video is going to be featuring the program manager, and her name is Kristina McGaha. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No problem. So before we jump into what the program manager actually is going to be doing, let's learn a little bit about your Taiko history. Sound good?
That sounds great.
Awesome.
So I started learning Taiko when I was 8 or 9, actually, with my family's group. So my grandfather was my first teacher. His name was Stanley Morgan, and our group name is Suzuki Kai Mogan Daiko, and we're based out of Tucson, Arizona. And by the time I hit high school and started college, I was working with Karen Falkenstrom and Rome Hamner, and we were the 3 founding members of Odaiba Senora, and that has blossomed into such a huge thing now, and it's really exciting to see. And the last few years, I've been the teacher and grant writer for Kawa Taiko out of Boise, Idaho. And in the meantime, I've also been independently doing workshops for schools and VA hospitals, things like that. And now I'm returning back home to Tucson, Arizona to start with TCA and also be the creative director for my family's group. So it's really exciting to come back full circle.
Yeah, in your email, you were talking about actually you are, I guess your family is actually 4 generation of Taiko players. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's kind of exciting. My daughter will be the 4th generation of my family now to not just play Taiko, but our group also specializes in Nihon Buyo, or Japanese dancing. Mm-hmm. So my grandfather started the group as the Taiko teacher, and my great aunt is the sensei for the Odori side of things.
Oh, okay.
And it's really fun to do both. Actually, I enjoy them both quite a bit.
Yeah, it's like I didn't realize that you were the granddaughter of Stanley Morgan. So Taiko royalty right there. Yeah, it's like, and if folks haven't heard much about Stanley, you can actually go to Talkin Taiko Tyrone's episode with Karen Falkenstrom, where she kind of talks a little bit about her meeting, I guess, your grandfather, and kind of that's how she started out too. But maybe we could dive a little bit deeper into that too once we give you your own episode. We'll have you come back on after you've kind of been in the position for a year, so you can kind of give us an update, and we can dive into a lot deeper history, since this is not like a full Talkin Taiko Tyrone episode. They only gave us about 15 or 20 minutes, not the 2 hours that I usually go into.
That would be great. Awesome. I would love to talk about them anytime. So that'd be wonderful.
Yeah, that'd be great. But kind of just jump back into your history though. Kind of what was it like for you kind of growing up with, I guess, just surrounded around Taiko, and some of your experiences from that, I guess, that period, just kind of growing up in this like Taiko family essentially.
It was really fun and exciting. Outside of Taiko, my extended family on both sides actually are musicians and performing artists. Oh, okay. So a lot of like extroverted people who learned very young not to have stage fright and things like that. Very loud, obnoxious families sometimes when we all got together for dinner. But it created such a rewarding childhood for us. And my grandmother, my Japanese grandmother, who's from Hokkaido, is my best friend in the whole wide world. She helped raise me and my sisters. And this was a really cool way to live and breathe and connect with her and our cultural heritage in a way that we wouldn't necessarily have the opportunity to do otherwise down in Arizona. So I loved every minute of it. And more so than my sisters, the second I picked up my first pair of bachi, I was hooked. I could not stop playing Taiko, So my mom bought a lot of earplugs growing up.
Yeah. It's funny. We're going to be interviewing Courtney Ozaki, who's also one of the staff members. And something I guess that you guys both share in common too is that, outside of both coming from Taiko families, but also starting at a young age. And so I think that's pretty cool that you guys can have that kind of going for you both.
Yeah, we geek out that we're the Taiko kids now on staff. So,
so yes. So tell us a little bit about the kind of the independent work you were kind of doing with the hospitals and those kind of classes? That sounds kind of interesting.
Oh, I love it. I'm so passionate about these things. One, I love teaching kids. Being an educator has always been a passion of mine. And actually, like, fun fact about me, Tyrone, I have a PhD, so I'm technically Dr. Kristina, which is
Okay.
So I do like teaching at the collegiate level too on the side. But teaching kids and then teaching individuals, not just veterans, but individuals who think that they cannot play drums because of some type of physical impairment or cognitive challenge. These are all people that I think the taiko community can and should continue reaching out to, because my family's philosophy is if you have a heartbeat, then you can make a drum beat.
Yeah.
And that has nothing to do with like how many arms you have or legs or what your range of motion is. Everyone, in my opinion, loves taiko. They just don't know it yet. So I really like doing these workshops and bringing it to communities that didn't know much about it before, and seeing people light up when they can learn a song inside of like 3 hours. It's just such a rewarding thing. So love it, love it, love it.
So being a founding member of Odaiba Senora, I guess, tell us a little bit about that experience. Was it tough kind of starting out on your own, kind of starting up a brand new group and kind of starting from scratch, or would you recommend that to other folks, or?
Oh my gosh. So first off, let me put some context on that. When we founded Odaiba Senora, I was 17.
Okay.
So Rome and Karen were the official grown-ups of the group, and I give them full credit on the actual design of what Odaiba Senora was going to be and what it has become now. That's been all of their hard work. I was just that third member, I think, because they needed an extra layer in the songs when we performed out in public, and they were like, "Yeah, we like hanging out with you. You can come keep playing." so I'll give that credit where credit is due. But it was really neat to see kind of the business side of taiko, because up until that point, I had only seen the fun stuff, the playing, the practicing, the performing. But really starting a group and making a taiko community locally was something that Odaiba Senora was able to do. And looking at that firsthand was a really rewarding experience for me, and it actually fueled my other interest, which is business. And that's what I ended up going to college for.
Oh, okay.
So, it's really cool now with the program manager position at TCA. I feel like I've run away and joined the circus, because I get to wear my taiko shirts to work and you know about that, but I'm doing the behind the scenes stuff to make TCA do what it can do for its community. It's amazing.
Awesome. So quick question. Do you prefer kind of ensemble group playing or more large group playing?
Ooh, for me, I think it depends on the song.
Yeah.
If it's my family, I say ensemble, but I have 45 first cousins. It could very easily be large group playing if everyone got together.
That could be true, yes.
Right? So it depends on the song. I'm starting, the older I get, the more interested I am in the narimono side of things. And I think that lends itself nice to bigger numbers, because you can have all the different layers harmonized in a very cool way that maybe like a group of 3 or 4 people can't necessarily achieve. So that's kind of my new personal interest that I'm working on with compositions and stuff, but we'll see.
And so now your family group, you said you're the creative director now, correct?
Yeah.
So I guess what has been how's that been kind of taking over as that creative director role? How's that kind of changed your outlook on things?
I started my creative director role the day before they put the stay-at-home order out. So it has been amazing.
Okay.
Actually, having everyone geographically isolated and doing like practices through Zoom and stuff has been nice for the family and everybody to reconnect. Because right now the group is mostly relatives, although it is absolutely open to anybody who cares to join.
I see.
But it's a nice way for us to connect and socialize and do something we all love. I definitely have become more tech savvy, I'd say, in the last 6 weeks than I was before with video conferencing softwares and things like that.
Awesome.
What's kind of exciting is once you learn taiko and you're teaching it to other people, you get to see their faces light up when they master something for the first time. It's like when I started teaching my kids as well. And so looking at that in all of my nieces and nephews and my own children, that has been the most rewarding thing, I think, coming back now as kind of a director role.
I see. Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's get into what we're really here for, your program manager position with TCA. So tell us a little bit about kind of what the program manager does, kind of what's your role going to be. Let's kind of start there.
Absolutely. So this is an exciting year for TCA. Courtney Ozaki and myself and Sarah Gilbert actually are the three first ever paid for staff members of the organization. And considering it really didn't form until about 2013, to be seeing this type of growth with TCA within 10 years is really impressive, and largely credited to the amazing board members and volunteers that TCA has had so far. What they're hoping my job as program manager will be is to oversee the programming of TCA. Mm-hmm. So not just NATC, which is a huge fun project I'm excited for, but other things that will come up along the way, like Taiko Voices and Taiko Then, and the archiving and kind of the curating of different Taiko resources for our community on the website.
I see.
So those are the things I'll be managing. And also I get to interface probably the most with our volunteer base. The program, which is so cool and exciting for me because I love talking to fellow Taiko geeks about anything and everything. So it's really nice that I get to do that every day now.
And kind of what was some of your prior work experience do you think that kind of helped to kind of drive you to be successful in a position like this?
Yeah, absolutely. So I had talked with Derek Oye and Wisa out of San Jose about some of my past experience. And when I was going to school, I was also working full time and very quickly went into leadership roles in the business world. So working for places like Target and Ross as not just a corporate trainer, but an event planner and a store systems manager. So I've done a lot of big type events like the NATC in the past. If you've shopped with Target on a Black Friday, I touched some of those things that was happening in the last 5 or 10 years. Okay. So, sorry or you're welcome, either way. However you want to take that, right? But so I've handled big budget projects in the past, and I've also done a lot on the stage manager side, like the performing arts side, through my family's group and with local theater groups. So I think all of that kind of played into why they thought I might be a good fit for this new position they created this year.
I see. So does that mean, and I don't know if this is jumping the gun too much, but does that mean that you're going to be like the conference coordinator then for NATC?
Yeah, so that's one of the exciting changes with bringing permanent staff on board rather than doing contracted stuff.
Right.
They'll now have somebody year after year who will be the coordinator for NATC conference.
Yeah, okay.
Than, hire somebody outside of TCA to manage that event. Mm-hmm. And I'm really looking forward to launching my first one. I'm glad they brought me on this year rather than 2 months before.
Yeah.
So that'll give us plenty of time to plan, and it's going to be super fun.
Awesome. And then let's see, what was the first NATC you might have attended?
So believe it or not, as long as I've played Taiko, which is 1,000 years now, last year 2019 was my first NATC conference.
Oh, okay.
And I went there actually with my group Kawa Taiko, and we performed in Taiko 10.
Nice.
And I think all of us in the group, it was all of our first NATC conference.
Oh, okay.
It was very fun. I had a blast. Of course, there were butterflies, and we got to hang out with cool people like Carly Okamura, who's now on the board for TCA.
Yeah.
And did the famous bunny rabbit number with her group at Taiko 10 that I think a lot of people from the comp, right?
Yeah.
So, it's been super fun to kind of come back full circle into the Taiko community full time, because probably the last 5 years it's been more independent stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
As an independent artist. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, then you're going to be able to bring a fresh, bright, new perspective then for NATC and some of the other programs, right?
Or crazy ideas. We'll see what happens.
We've been doing this for a long time. Might be good to shake it up a little bit. We'll see. Yeah. I'll write a nice comment section for you that you could then potentially just crumple up and throw away if you don't like it.
Right. That's it. We're going to have an idea board just like that now.
Yeah. So, what are some of the, I guess, hopes and dreams could say that you have for kind of the position or for TCA or what you want to accomplish maybe in like the first year?
Oh my gosh. The first year is really just about me kind of getting organized in my role and finding out how I can plug in best to support TCA and everything that it does and has going on, because they really do have a wide reach in the Taiko community and it's very impressive.
Hmm.
But there's a lot of hope, not just for me, but other people with TCA and within Taiko communities all over the country, that the reach could be a little farther, or we could get to more of the geographically isolated pockets of North America that don't have as big of groups that would still like to have their voice heard and represented. I think that would be a great goal for this first year.
Hmm.
And also, thinking outside of the box, bringing people into the community that we otherwise wouldn't have interacted with. Non-performers, for example, like music therapists,
Oh, okay.
or like I said, at the VA. I really have my heart out to teach as many people as possible Taiko. So if I
Yeah.
can do that through CA as well, I think it's all the best. That would be
Yeah.
even better.
Cool. I like that. Yeah, that's kind of a different way that I think place that we haven't really explored as much. I thought people have been kind of dabbling in it, right? But it's like it's not.
Yeah.
I think that it gives opportunities for more people to just kind of have awareness around it and something that they
Yeah.
potentially could do, right?
Yeah. And maybe it's not TCA's place to be the actual teacher of those things to those new students, but being the support pillar for Taiko players across the country, across the world, to do that to their local communities. So, it's exciting to see which direction we'll go with all those ideas.
Awesome. Well, I think it's good that I'm being able to meet you and interview you because I may or may not have some projects that I might be pitching at TCA that I guess I now would be going through you, so Derek doesn't have to listen to me anymore.
That's right. Derek is very happy that I'm on board right now.
So I have to keep telling him all this stuff I want to do. But I guess we'll see kind of as we progress along. I've got I had like a 5-year plan that ended up becoming like a 10-year plan of like these projects I want to do that ended up getting put on hold just because I got busy with a lot of stuff. And now with everyone kind of being stuck at home, some of those kind of percolated potentially to the top. So there might be some chance that we could be working together, or you could say, yeah, we don't have time for that. And then I got to figure out something else. But I don't know. We'll see. So
We'll see. I don't know.
It's a big mystery.
I cannot predict the future, but I know it is bright for TCA and everyone involved, because it's the quality of work that they've put out strictly with volunteers so far is so amazing. And now that we're growing and bringing on more permanent fixtures, it's just the sky's the limit. So
awesome. Well, I would just recommend that everyone kind of keep up to date with what's happening with the TCA by going to, and it's taikoalliance.org, correct?
yes.
Okay, just make sure we are .org.
TaikoCommunityAlliance.org.
Yes, so that is the place where you're going to be able to find out kind of what TCA has been up to and kind of what is coming out to the future. They've also got Facebook, so make sure that you are connected there. Instagram, they've got Instagram, and I think those are pretty much the social media platforms, right?
Right now, and then of course, we do have a couple of content available through YouTube, but that's mostly through our archiving that we're trying to do and the Taiko Then and the 50th anniversary projects that we did last year.
Okay, cool. All right. So make sure that you check him out on those 3 places, and make sure that you check out Talkin Taiko with Tyrone, the most listened to internet English speaking podcast on the internet. We are on Facebook, so make sure that's where you're going to get all the latest news. We have a YouTube channel that we've started posting some videos, and also our game show is something that we currently have been working on. And then, of course, all of our content for the podcast itself is on SoundCloud, and we're updating the new episodes and slowly archiving the old episodes onto our Spotify page. So you can just search us on any of those platforms by looking for Talkin Taiko with Tyrone, and we're the only ones, so we should pop up easily. So, well, thanks again for coming and talking to us a little bit, and we look forward to seeing all the work you're going to be doing with the TCA and getting you back on for a full-length episode of the podcast in the future.
Anytime. I would love it. Thanks, Tyrone. I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right. Thank you very much.